Hello, Facebook. How are you? Not Facebook. Hello, YouTube. How are you doing? I'm saying Facebook. I'm so used to being there, but we are on YouTube. So, how are you this evening? Julie Sasha Klutze here. I am coming at you live because I wanted to have a conversation regarding your soul purpose. And I know that many of you right now are very confused as to what that is. So if you are new to my world, please say hello so I can say hello back. If you're catching the replay, please let me know. And if you have any questions regarding this conversation, I would love to know about them so that I can enlighten you, so that I can clarify anything that we've discussed during this conversation. What to do when you're confused about your soul purpose. There are so many women who come to me, being a soul purpose coach, who are on this quest, who have been on this quest to figure out what they come here to do. Who are they supposed to be? What are they meant to do? How are they supposed to show up in this lifetime? And the reason why it gets so confusing is that many of us, what happens is that we fall into the system, right? This linear system that has been in existence for centuries, where we're born, we go to school, right? And then in high school, we are asked by the guidance counselor, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? We choose a career, and then we graduate high school. We go into either university or college. And then after we graduate, we find a job, and then we go in 35 to 50 hours a week, and that's it. And then we wake up one day and we realize that we're really not fulfilled anymore, that we have been caught up in the rat race, and all of these decisions that we've made have brought us to this moment where we're no longer feeling like we are creating transformation, or as if we are actually tapping into our zone of genius. So I know a lot of women who show up into my world and they're questioning all of the decisions that they've made. And I was there too. I was what I call in the corporate cage. And for 15 years, I had a completely other life. I was in the childhood education field, and I was at different levels, right? I climbed up the corporate ladder. And there I was, in this very important job. I had the important job title, and I had the nice salary and the benefits and the vacation time. And I even had a bathroom in my office. On paper, it looked great, but I was miserable. I was miserable. And it was confusing to me, and it might be confusing to you as well. Because when we truly believe that we made all the decisions, all the right decisions that we thought we were supposed to make, and then we end up being unfulfilled, we're completely bamboozled, right? We're completely confused because we made all these decisions thinking that this was the right thing to do. And there lies the problem, right? We end up making decisions according to what society has deemed right for us. And so many women come to me feeling confused, feeling frustrated, depleted, and they want to know, what's going on with me? Am I going through a midlife crisis? What is happening? Because I am no longer happy with my career choice. Or it could also be because I also work with women who are stay-at-home moms and thinking that raising their children it was going to be the best thing in the world. And after a while, no matter how much they love their children, they realize that they're not fulfilled, that there's something else that they're just not tapping into. And so I have these incredible, creative, intelligent, powerful women who come to the world needing clarity, feeling confused. And so this all makes sense to me. And this is why I love to meet with these women and journey with them so that they can see that what they're going through is just divine timing. There's nothing wrong with what's happening. If you're feeling confused or frustrated, questioning your career path, or even questioning your business, or questioning, the fact that you chose to be a stay-at-home mom, I don't want you to panic about that. This is normal because we go through different cycles. And for those of you who are new to my world, I use the ancient teaching of intuitive numerology. I've been a certified master intuitive numerologist for over a decade, and this is what I use to lead myself first and how to lead others. Okay, and this is what I teach. I teach you how to crack the code on yourself, on how to take a deep dive into your numerical code so that you can experience a deep soul remembrance. And so in numerology, there is such a thing called cycles, personal cycles. And when women hit their second cycle, usually it's at the end of their first and into their second cycle, this is where our destiny number, our destiny code starts taking up more space. Now, your destiny is who you came here to be. This is at your highest potential, your zone of genius. How are you? What did you come here to do in a sense of how does that look like, right? So, where is your highest potential? And so this is why, usually in our mid 30s to about late 40s, a lot of women will start feeling that shift of, this doesn't resonate like it used to. I am no longer fulfilled with XYZ. Now I want something different. I feel like there's something more within me that needs to be expressed, that needs to be revealed, that needs to be shared with the world. So this is not your imagination, and no, it's not a midlife crisis or anything. This is you just awakening to another phase, right? Another level, another period of evolution for you, another period of ascension, right? It's like an upward spiral where you just go through your ascension, but in a spiral. And so there are different things that are going to come up when we are in this state, right? When we're in this moment of questioning, what am I to do now? Should I go left? Should I go right? Should I quit my job? Should I apply for that promotion? Should I start that business? There's all these, should I stay or should I go? Right. And this is where it gets really confusing because we don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to fall flat on our face. We don't want to say, oh, I'm handing in my letter of resignation, and then turn around and whatever idea you had fails. It doesn't work out. And so fear will hold us back a lot. And then that keeps us in that state of confusion, that state of fear and of frustration, right? Because we know we can no longer stay stagnant. We're not made, first of all, to be stagnant. We are made to move. We are made to evolve, right? And so when we stay stagnant in an environment where our soul knows that you're no longer supposed to be there, you're supposed to move forward, that's where a lot of things start happening. That's where I see a lot of people go through burnouts. I've been through too, right? Because I wasn't listening to what my soul was telling me. I wasn't honoring this deep soul calling that I was feeling, that inner niggle. I wasn't honoring it. I wasn't listening to it. I wasn't trusting it either. I was just staying put because of the fear, right? My fear was greater than my desires. And what we have to start doing is to amplify the desire so that the desire becomes bigger than the fear, right? I find that there are more and more women in this incredible times that we're in right now. More and more women are starting to wake up to the fact that they came here to create deep impact, to be part of a deep transformation, to create a ripple effect, to be part of something that's much greater than them. It's not so much an individual thing, right? They just feel like they're meant to be part of something. And in this universal year energy right now, we're in a universal year 6. And the 6 is all about lifting the veil. It's all about higher vision. And that's why a lot of people are starting to awaken to the fact that they're just no longer happy with what it is that they have chosen for themselves. And so they are now out of alignment with their destiny, right? Because the 6 also represents destiny in numerology. So a lot of people are starting to scratch their head. They're starting to question themselves. They're starting to start looking at maybe other possibilities. Maybe I need to change career paths. Maybe I need to go for, towards that course that I want to take or that certification that I wanted to take for so long. There's all of this questioning that's happening, which is creating the confusion because we've been born and raised to just walk a straight line, right? Born, go to school, graduate, choose a career, go to another school, pay a lot of money for it, and then start the career. And that's it. Pay your bills and be satisfied with that. Right? This is it. This is how we were supposed to live life. But now we are ascending into the fifth dimension. And the fifth dimension is not linear, it is not the third dimension. Right? So we're all kind of going through this corridor, which is the fourth dimension. It's like a really long alley, right? And we're trying to figure all our stuff within this alley. And sometimes there are parts of that alley that are pretty dark. And so we're trying to figure things out. We're helping each other along the way so that we can actually all ascend to the fifth dimension, which is the complete polar opposite of what the third dimension is, of how we've been born and raised, right? So I want you to just, first of all, congratulate yourself for being so connected to your soul. Because if you're feeling that frustration, if you're feeling that confusion, that's because this is your soul trying to speak through you and saying, yes, you need to listen. You need to listen to this inner niggle, as Rebecca Campbell says, right? We need to listen to this inner niggle and not just listen to it. We need to really honor it. So the way that I, for myself, when I was in the corporate cage, how I got out of this confusion is that I stopped fighting this inner niggle. I stopped fighting this urge, this soul urge to explore something else. And I started honoring and respecting the fact that I wanted to, that I desired to be, do, and have more. I let go of this whole guilt and shame story that was plaguing me around all of these feelings of wanting something different, right? I was feeling guilty, I was feeling ashamed, and then there was a lot of fear. So I had to take a look at all of these feelings that were stopping me from moving forward, that were stopping me from gaining that clarity. Okay, that's the first thing that I did, was like, okay, you know what? It's there for a reason. It's there for a reason. Now, when you are in that state and you know that whatever it is you're doing is not what you're meant to do, but yet you don't know what it is that you're meant to be or to do, this place of void, of unknowing, this is where you can become your worst enemy, right? It becomes like what I call a mind fuckery, right? It's like you start just playing around with all of these should I not, and all this. So what I am inviting you to do, okay, this is the process that I am suggesting that you apply in order to really start gaining more clarity as to what your soul purpose is. The number one thing is to find stillness. We are in such a chaotic kind of world. There is information, like an overload of information across the globe. It is crazy. We are being bombarded left, right, and center with, it's like sensory overload, right? So much information, to the point where we don't even know what it's like to just sit with ourselves. And how are we supposed to connect with our soul purpose, with our soul gifts, with that inner niggle, if we can't even sit still for like 5 minutes because we're just too busy being busy? So we need to carve out some time, right? And create this sacred space where we can just sit with ourselves, even if it's just for 5 minutes. This is important. We need to start reconnecting here. And 2022, the energy of the six is all comprised of the twos, right? I mean, there's 3 twos in there, and the twos are all about that connection, the inner connection to yourself, and then connection with others. But it all starts within us first. So it's like we're going into communion. We're being asked to go into communion with ourselves so that we can tap into our destiny, so that we can tap into our higher vision, so that we can align to it. You see? Okay? So it's so important. Find the time to just sit with yourself. Just put your both hands, on your chest, and just breathe and feel your heartbeat, and just go into that heart space. And this, by the way, is called the heart mudra. This is an incredible teaching, an ancient teaching that I learned when I was in an initiate school for mystics and sages. This was one of the first things that we learned. We have something that's called the assemblage point right here. I'm not going to go into too much into the energetics of it all. Just to let you know, though, if you're feeling confused, lost, fearful, right here, put both hands right on top of your heart and breathe. Just breathe. And this will regulate your nervous system. This will calm everything down and it will center you. Okay, it will bring you into your heart space. You can do this for 5 minutes. I tell you, if you start carving out some time to just sit with yourself, things are going to start getting clear for you. Okay, one of the reasons why we're so confused is that we don't take time to sit with ourselves. We're just running around all the time. We're caught up in the rat race. Okay, the other way for you to start stepping out of the fog is to ask yourself, what ignites me? Like, what are my passions? What lights me up? So I'll give you like a scenario. If I were to take you and drop you in the middle of a bookstore, what section would you go into right away? Like if I told you you have only like 20 minutes, you only have 20 minutes to go and find yourself a few books, what section would you go in? And try to narrow it down as much, like laser focus it as much as possible. So if you say, well, I go into gardening, I go in the gardening section. Okay, but like what part of gardening, right? Would it be with, is it more like herbs or is it more like a big perennial garden, or you know what I mean? Like what kind? So go in and go and see what ignites you. What is your passion? Because I know that every time that I was confused, I would go back to what ignites me the most, with what was my passion, right? And passions will change and they will shift, but there's always a common thread. There's always a common thread. So if you say, well, Julie, I have a few passions, well, that's fine. So do I. I love children. I love animals. I love gardening. I love numerology, and I love coaching and guiding women. I love so many things, right? So try to figure out, like, what is it that ignites your soul? What is it that you could do for hours and hours and not even see the time go by? Right? Have you ever caught yourself, you were doing something and then you looked up at the time, you're like, oh my God, 2 hours have already gone by. I didn't even see the time go by. That's time warping. Okay. And what happens is that you kind of just entered into this incredible vortex. And that's what happens when you are resonating, when you're calibrating to your zone of genius, right? Into your soul purpose, into your numerical codes. So find your passion, and that will start giving you like breadcrumbs, right? It'll start giving you an idea as to what is my soul purpose. The other thing that I suggest you to do, and this is kind of a funny one, a very non-traditional way, but do you envy? Do you envy other women or other people when you see them and you say, oh, God, I just wish. I wish I could do that. You know, how does she do it? I just wish. I envy her so much. Is there somebody that when you look at them, you envy them and you wish? You know, you're like, oh, I'd love to do that. I'd love to experience that. Because there's a key there, okay? The reason why you are so attracted to that is because it speaks to something that's residing within you, okay? So you wouldn't be attracted to it if it wasn't meant for you to experience it. You understand? So, for instance, I can see somebody doing some, I don't know, let's say surfing. And I'll look at them and say, wow, that's cool. That's great. It's amazing. But never will I say, oh my God, I wish I could just spend hours in the ocean and just ride the waves and become one with the ocean. And it's not my passion. It doesn't ignite me. It's not part of my coding. It's not. Okay. So there's a reason why you're not turned on for certain things, but other things you're like, oh my God, yes, please. Okay. That's what it is. So take a look and try to see if there is someone, when you see that person, whether it's somebody you know or somebody on the screen, whether it's in a movie that you saw somebody, or it could be on social media, or maybe it's a colleague. But when you see that person, it's like, oh God, I just wish I could do that. That's your soul telling you that there's something within that you're meant to experience. Okay. Now, last but not least, the easiest way, the most certain way that you can calibrate to your soul purpose, that you can I don't want to say discover, because your soul purpose is within you. Okay. It's just that it's buried under a lot of layers, because we've been programmed, we've been conditioned. There's so many elements out there, right, that have kind of warped our idea as to what it is that we're meant to do. But what numerology does is that it creates this deep soul remembrance, where you get to remember what you came here to do. I have offered hundreds of readings, and I have yet to meet one person to tell me, you know what, Julie, I don't resonate with that. I have yet to meet one person. Everybody who I sit down with and I offer a reading to leave our time together with their eyes just shining bright and a smile up to here, and they're whistling a tune, and their vibration is so high because they tapped in to their soul purpose. They recognized, they remembered who they came here to be, what they came here to do, and how their soul wanted to show up in this lifetime. Everything is within your soul's blueprint. There's a reason why you were born on that specific day, and there's a reason why you were given that specific name. There are no coincidences, none at all, okay? Everything was all aligned because you chose to come here with a specific electromagnetic signature. You needed that frequency in order to incarnate into this lifetime and play out the energetics that you wanted to play out. Okay? So if you want to know what you came here to do and who you came here to be, if you want to tap into these incredible numerical codes, then I invite you to reach out to me, and let's get you on my scheduler so that you can book yourself a reading. Because once you have that information, this is the story of you. It's your story. When I offer a reading to somebody, is one of the most magical, intimate moments that I share with someone else, because it is their life story. And it's like I read a book. It's like, once upon a time, there was this little girl that came into the physical realm to experience XYZ, and off I go. And what happens during my readings is that that's why it's called intuitive numerology. Not only are we talking about the science of numbers, and I am, showing you my mad deciphering skills, but I also get intuitive insights, right? Spirit comes in, we have conversations, there are messages that come through for you at that time if needed. Okay. So this is one of the most powerful ways for you to discover your soul purpose, is through a reading. And what happens is that you have all of this incredible information, right? You have all of this credible information. It's like a confirmation. It's more than information. It is your blueprint. It is confirmation. Okay. And what you do with this is up to you. Once you have all of this information, all of this tangible information about you, then you get to decide. And we all have free will. And I've seen many women take that information and soar. I've seen them transform their entire life, their relationships, their career, their health. I have seen them do it. There are other women who choose to continue to work with me, to journey with me through either some of my master courses or one-on-one mentorship. Again, that is up to you. But let's start with you knowing exactly what you came here to do, who you came here to be, what is your highest potential, what is your zone of genius. Have you even tapped into it? Have you just scratched the surface a bit? What is that? How does your soul want to express itself? What are your soul gifts? And what are you meant to do this year? Like, what is going on? What energies, what energetics are holding you, or holding space for you, or guiding you, or supporting you? What is that? What's going on? What cycles are you in? numerology is infinite. It's an infinite language of the universe, and it holds so much wisdom. But it is up to you to decide if you're ready to take a deep dive into the depths of your being and to start revealing all of these incredible, incredible numerical codes that you have within your soul's blueprint. We need your magic. This is such an incredible time that we've chosen, we raised our hands, we've chosen to explore and to experience the dualities of what is going on right now. And if you resonate with the terms of light worker, way shower, visionary, light leader, right? If you resonate, healer, if you resonate with these terms, that's because you raised your hand to come here and to help raise the earth's frequency, to help people in their ascension. But we need to do it first, right? We need to work on ourselves, to lead ourselves first. It all starts in our backyard. And then once we figure ourselves out, more or less, we're never done figuring ourselves out. But when we have the foundation, right? When we have this solid inner knowing, then we become unshakable. It's just like a home. When you build a home and you have a solid foundation, you can build as high as you want, as big as you want. But when you have a shaky foundation, everything you're going to try to build upon on that is just going to be on shaky grounds, right? You need to have a solid foundation, which brings me to this incredible master course that I have recently up leveled. Now, I've offered this twice already, but because of these incredible times of massive shift and awakening, I was called to up level it, to add to it. Okay, so this master course is called The Foundations. And I might have more changes that come to it. I'm just following guidance here, okay? But right now it is for 4 weeks. It's a 4-week master course where you have access to modules, and this is like lifetime access to modules. And for 4 weeks, we come together every week as a group, and I do coaching with all of you. I answer your questions. And within these modules, this master course is so magical because it offers you the foundation of who you came here to be. What did you come here to do? This is like your soul purpose in a beautiful package with a big bow on it. This is basically what I've created for you. This is what actually I've channeled in. So you have all of the foundations of intuitive numerology, but I don't only teach you what your numerical codes are all about, right? So you will find out what your life purpose is, your destiny, your heart's desire, your personal year. You're not only going to know all these things because that's just information, which is great, but that's not transformation. I also teach you how to integrate your codes, how to start cracking the codes on yourself so that you can start integrating them. And that's where magic happens. It's when you start integrating, right, the codes that you have, that you start seeing shifts happen within your, around you, within yourself, and then outside of you, right? But it all starts inside. So you have access to the modules, you have a work guide, you have a workbook, you have access to me. You also will have access to a community of like-minded women who are doing the same inner work as you. Okay, I have bonus modules as well that you get, and you also receive a free, I call it a course sequence reading. This is where I give you your life path number, your destiny number, your heart's desire number, and then I will actually throw in your personal year number as well. And I send it to you on a PDF with a recording so that you really understand what your codes are all about. Okay. But then I actually guide you into diving deeper into it. And what's really interesting about this program, about this master course, is that once you figured it out for yourself, you are going to want to use this knowledge and this wisdom with your loved ones and or with your clients. Okay. And I already have some women who are doing that. They're already using all of the content, all of this magic within the foundation master course with their clients and with their loved ones. And what happens is that you start understanding and relating to people on a soul level. Everything changes. Everything changes. So you can use it for yourself, and you can also use it to help others as well. And 9 times out of 10, the women who have done this course have used it in order to deepen their relationships with their loved ones or those who they lead. Okay. And if you're anything like me, you also lead in your household. I'm a homeschooling mom and I'm also a coach. So I'm leading pretty much everywhere. And we are beacons of light. Let's face it, it is part of our journey. So if you're interested in knowing more about the foundations, let me know. You can reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to send you the details on that. We're starting at the end of April, beginning May. I'm still figuring out which date will be good to start off this incredible 4-week journey together. So if you have any questions regarding your soul purpose and how to discover it, please reach out to me. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay in that void. Don't stay in that stagnation. You're not meant to stay there. You're meant to move. Okay? Reach out to me so that I can help you kind of work things through. Incredible conversation. So, on that, I'm going to wish you all an incredible day, whether it's day, afternoon, evening. I am not sure what time it is, but for me, it's evening. And on that, I'm sending you all so much love and so much light. Ciao for now.